And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the quarterfinals, so day one of the LiuLi Cup number 46. We just wrapped up with our first two series of the broadcast, and we have two best of fives remaining. We are halfway through the show here. Up next, we have a PvZ between herO and Rogue. Let's go. These two, they do face off quite often, of course, as Rogue is one of the other regulars when it comes to online tournament play in the Open Cups. We've seen these two face off in recent times, and we'll see if we're able to have a different outcome here. We'll see how they do adapt and evolve over time, as they do often and rarely play against each other. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss for T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player. For Team Falcons, it is Rogue. We go. Look at these two last face-off last week during the Wardy TV Monday, where Rogue was able to barely clutch out a win over Classic, and then had a very fast series against herO. herO, he is a much more aggressive player here. He thrives so much more in the mid-game. I'm not saying he cannot play late-game. He can, of course, especially on some of these maps, like Maganatha, like Incorporeal, like Tokamak. I expect to see herO playing out a more macro-oriented game, but if he sees a window, if he sees an opportunity, he'll be very much so in your face. He'll be in your face, he'll go for an early blink timing, he'll go for early Twilight Council. He can be in your face and get damage done early on and just snowball from there. Oh boy. So we'll see how Rogue does adjust. Rogue himself has been finding himself in this matchup in ZVP. Last year, of course, it was a time where Rogue, every single game, he would just rush into lurkers and try to rush into tech and slow the game down. That was, of course, in 2024, though. Coming into this year, Rogue has been going for more all-ins. We've been seeing a lot more 3-base all-ins out of Rogue. I say out of Rogue, we've been seeing a lot of 3-base all-ins out of Zerg players, period. In general, we've been seeing just a lot more aggressive builds and aggressive play. I will say, though, coming into the latest patch, that play is weaker in ZVP. In ZVP, all-ins, they do feel weaker because of the change to Storm. Storm is a much more powerful zoning tool, and it does allow for easier defensive play on 3 and 4 bases. Now, I will add a caveat to that, because I believe we have also been seeing an uptick of Ling Bane aggression. Now, Ling Bane aggression hits a little bit different because of the change to Storm. Now, what do I mean by that? The Baneling has extra HP. And before the hotfix, Banelings were surviving storms as they were running through them. I should emphasize, to be able to collapse on the army. So with the Banelings added HP, with the storm doing less damage, and for the DPS to be a little bit slower, the DPS rate being a little bit slower on the storm, Banelings were actually surviving and making it through and actually impacting some of these fights. Now, after the hotfix, with the storm damage being lowered even further, I do believe that Ling Bane, specifically the Baneling, does have more HP making through, is a little bit more viable here against Protoss in ZVP. Now, I say a little bit more viable. For me, it's still theoretical. I've still seen Zerg players struggle to all-in with Ling Bane Hydra and struggle to break defensive Protoss players. It is still stronger than it once was, the Baneling, I mean, in this matchup, but isn't enough to break herO. We'll see. We'll see if Rogue does go for an all-in. We'll see if herO does go for Storm. Oh, hello. That's not what I was expecting. So Stargate opener, not into Oracle, but into Void Ray. Okay, let's go. Void Ray opener out of herO. Does open with a Void Ray. We'll be able to hunt down these overlords, deny vision, and that means that herO can hide some tech. This can be early Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts. This could be second Stargate into Fleet Beacon into Tempest Rush. This could be something more sinister here. We'll keep an eye on herO. Third base is being taken. Overlord is about to be hunted down. We'll see what tech he goes for from here. Where we headed? Where we dropping? Or what are we dropping? And that is an early Twilight Council, okay. So early Twilight Council, you can see here he's hunting for Overlords. The Overlord is here on the right-hand side. herO has yet to confirm. Twilight Council into 4s. This looks like +1 and Blink. Technically, this could be charge. This could be an earlier charge timing. But leaning more towards Blink, leaning more towards something more standard. We'll see. As the Overlord does get eyes on additional gateways. Getting up to 3. There it is, early charge. Okay, so early charge timing out of here. That was one of the possibilities. Now we see why he went for the Void Ray. Now we see why he's trying to deny vision. Now, specifically, this build is designed to punish players that skip their Roach Warren. If we were to see Ling Hydra out of Rogue, then herO could just overwhelm. Thankfully, Rogue is getting a safety Roach Warren, partially because he saw the gateways and he confirmed. Yeah, he confirmed the gateways, the Twilight Council. So Rogue, he should be pumping out safety roaches. Should be. So we have more gates on the way. We even have safety spine crawlers for Rogue. Secure himself even further. Ooh, this is a bold move. This isn't just defensive roaches. We have Overlord speed on the way. Okay. This is indicative of a counterattack. This means that Rogue, he's cutting workers. He's cutting workers. He wants to defend. He wants to shut down the aggression and then turn this defense into an all-in. So it's going to be a Ling, Roach, Queen all-in. Bit of a German taxi. Again, seeing Overlord speed was the tell. And of course, lack of journey. He goes off, catches a queen. herO, he's been building up more zealots. But zealots, they are not ideal defensively against all-ins, not like this. Lings, they hit the 3rd. Nothing to defend. We're going for the base trade. Okay, let's go. So Rogue, he's going to break down the 3rd. And meanwhile, herO is going across the map to catch reinforcements and to ideally break down the natural. So they do bust in. At the same time, Queens have dropped. They're getting on top of the Void Ray, and the Void Ray will go down as it barely pulls away in time. And Void Ray pulls away. Queens, they're on the chase. Probes, they evacuate. The 3rd base is forfeit. 3rd base is going to fall at the same time. Zelsay bust into the mineral line. They get across the map into the 3rd base of Rogue. But is this enough to outgo? He's going to kill everything. The Zelsay just pop up. They kill everything, but can herO defend? Can he survive? Again, Blink is heavily delayed. Cannons are finishing. Nice force field. They're making it awkward. A lot of wasted DPS here from the Roaches and Ravagers. Yeah, they cannot engage. Shield batteries are finishing. Queen goes down. Yeah, Brutal Snipe takes down the Queen, takes down the Tumors. That's going to be 25 drone kills. And the Roaches are still in the main, by the way. They're still popping off. Oh, God. 29 drones, and here he defends. Here he defends. He cleans us up. Blink is almost done. We're going for the warp in. The armor was never reinforced. And Rogi's running out of steam. He failed to kill the base. He's now going for it. Can he kill the Bile? Oh my god. He doesn't. Even with the Bile, he fails to kill the 3rd base. GG, and herO, he will take game number 1. GG. Ooh, a very chaotic game 1 here with a herO rushing into charge. Rogue was aware, which is why Rogue did decide to go for his own all-in, his own counter all-in, but it was a little bit unfortunate. Rogue, I'm sure, was hoping that herO would use everything to defend. I want to say that if the Zealots stayed at home to defend, Rogue could have pulled this off, because again, he had a superior army when it comes to bringing down or shutting down the Zealots and getting on top of the 3rd base and breaking the 3rd as well. If herO had committed into a 3rd base defense, I think that would have killed him, but herO didn't. What did he do instead? He went for the counterattack. He defended with the bare minimum at the natural, pulled off the counterattack, and he crippled Rogue back at home, and Rogue just could not defend. He chose not to turn back around. He chose to commit to the push, and he suffered because of it. GG. GG, well played. And again, really good decision making here out of herO, as in the face of the all-in, he chose not to turn around. And with that, we are now getting into game number 2. herO on T1, nice. Yes, herO, he joined T1, ooh, like 3 weeks ago? 3? It's maybe been a month, maybe. But if you remember, he joined Maestros, he joined T1 in the lead up to Maestros of the Game, which was the big events in France. The big event in France, which was like, again, like 2 to 3 weeks ago. There we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. We, of course, speak on the potential ramifications of a Korean team stepping back into the ring in SE2. We spoke about that during the podcast when initially this was announced. But spotting in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is herO. Here we go. As herO is forced take the unnatural natural, and herO getting into a standard opener himself. Now we're going to Tokamak. Tokamak is the most defensive map in the map pool, very large as well, so we do often see longer and later games on Tokamak. Not saying that all-ins don't work on this map, they do. All-ins, they do work, but they're less effective. They're more difficult to pull off, so we are expecting to see more greed and more of a tech-heavy play out of our two players, or at least out of herO. herO, of course, does have the option to be aggressive again. Last game, he went into an early charge timing. We could see early blink play here. I wouldn't be, would I be opposed to an 8-gate blink build? Or would I be opposed to early Twilight Council delayed Forge into blink aggression? I don't think it's too effective here on Tokamak. We'll see. We'll see where he takes us after the Stargate, assuming that we open Stargate. I'm assuming. Spying on the buddies. I do appreciate someone was mentioning earlier how currently it is quite hot in Australia. True, we're getting into summer. We're getting into summer in Australia, so the heat is rising. But the bunnies, they're good. It's nice and chilly up here. Thankfully, it's a relatively cool room that they're in. Like, there's no AC or anything going on, but it's still relatively cool. Nice ventilation. So they're okay. They get their water as well. They're awita. As herO does open up Stargate. To be expected. So Stargate open out of herO. Does open Stargate. This time opening up Oracle. There's no Void Ray shenanigans this time. None of that. Likewise, herO is freely droning, saturating. The Adept is being annoying and does get some value. Kills 4 Lings so far. Nicely done. It all does add up over time. So gets a handful of Zerglings, pulls away. Likewise, more Oracles being sent out. And it's going to be up to herO to keep up with this aggression. Does shade into the middle line. He's going for it. Yeah, does go for the boys. So far, 3, not quite 4 drones going down. Yeah, Adepts are going to be shut down here. So 3 drone kills. It's okay damage, bearing in mind that Adepts, they killed 6 Lings and 3 drones. Good trade here for herO. Oracle does pull back, and so far, there's no early tech. Base is on the way. There's no early Twilight Council, no early Forge. Looks like a standard game, a standard follow-up. So after a chaotic game 1, we're calming things down here in game 2, which makes sense because we're on Tokamak. It needs to be expected on Tokamak. herO, he does bait out both Pulsar beams. Nicely done. Baits out the beams, pulls away. Here comes that Twilight Council on the Forge, but again, this timing is later than last game. Last game, it was thrown down as the third base was starting. Here, it's thrown down as the third base is finishing. So this should be Pulse on Blink, not charge. Adepts, they do shade into the natural. Lings are out of position. And damage is being done. Mining is being denied. No target firing on the drones. But denies mining nonetheless. Ooh, as Adepts, they shade into the main. That shouldn't have happened. 4 up to 5 drones. 5 drones going down. Another station trap in the middle line, catching out 3 drones. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. Looking at the use lost tab here, 9 drone kills, 12 links as well for 5 adepts. Bearing in mind that these adepts, they were built early on in the game, as you typically do to survive and to defend early on. Ideally, you want to get rid of them, and he trades. He does trade them out. Here being very efficient with his units and following up with +1 and blink with that mid game. So coming into the mid game, Hero is in a better position. Rogue has been struggling to maintain his economy. Behind this, getting to his Evo Chamber, +1 melee, into Lair, into Ling Hydra should be the tech of choice. That is the standard follow-up. This time, Rogue is skipping Roaches, which is the go-to. Oracles are going for the run by, they get 3 more drones. The Oracles are getting very low. Oh no! Ooh, and 1 Oracle does go down. Big overextension. 1 Oracle for 5 drones. Not ideal for Hero. Pulls out, he pulls away. And again, here he's going to be stuck at home at least until Blink finishes. Once Blink kicks in, he can start being active, or we can just be defensive and turtle up. So here it's going to be up to him, his choice. Second Forge is on the way. Interesting. So going for double Forge, double upgrades. He's choosing not to tech up yet. At the same time, Rogue going for the Spire. I assumed it was going to be Ling Hydra, but no, it's going to be Ling Bane Muta. This is very risky. This is very risky here. So far, checking here his vision. He has not scouted. He has not confirmed. But Hero's going for a very gateway heavy style. From here, he could have gone into splash damage, but no. He's building on more Stalkers, getting into Zealots, going for a 1-1. And Rogue is vulnerable. There's a window in time before the mutas really come online. Rogue is pulling away. Does zone back those Stalkers. Master Relation on the Lings. Now, seeing all these Lings is a little bit suspicious here. Hero should be wondering to himself, what are you spending your gas on? Are you rushing into Ultras, right? Are you rushing into Hive, rushing into Ultras? Are you going into Mutas? Are you going into Lurker Tech? Like, where is the gas being spent? Hero has to be wondering this. We can see, we know it's 10 Mutas. 10 Mutas on the way. Here he's getting into his own Archons. I do worry about the main push. I feel like once we warp in enough Archons, I don't think Hero can be stopped. Ling Bane Muta is very, very vulnerable here to a more charged Archon Stalker composition. Hero is pushing out. Behind this, Skytoss is on the way. Hero is on 4 bases. His goal here is to turtle up into Skytoss. But as he applies pressure, he'll see that there's not really much to defend. Yeah, Mutas, they move out. They move out across the map. Lings, they try to engage. Ooh, Zealots, they do take some bait to the face. Yeah, to the face. There's a recall back home. Mutas so far, they get 7 probe kills, not bad. 7, 8, 9 probes going down. They get into the main base mineral line. But at the same time, bases are going down across the map. Ooh, and Mutas, they cannot fight this head on. Oh my god. So many Mutas go down. It's 14 probes though. 14 probes, but this army is not being stopped. Yeah, there's nothing to defend. Lings is trying to collapse in. GG gets called. The main army cannot be stopped, and Hero takes game number 2. GG. Whew, GG, well played. As we mentioned, rushing into mutas like this, it is so risky because you are vulnerable. You are so vulnerable. There's a massive window in time where you don't have anything to defend. You have some Ling Bane, that's nice. That means nothing in the face of a couple of Archons. And there were, what, 2-3 Archons, the Mass Stalker as well. The Ling Bane army crumbled before the gateway composition of Hero, and the mutas, sure, they were killing probes. They got like 14, right? They got like 14 probes across the map. That's nice. but he was losing bases and losing his army, right? He was losing everything else back at home. So GG. GG, well played. herO does take a 2-0 lead. And with that, we're getting into game number 3. An instance, a scenario where metas like this can work is if herO was being very tech heavy. If herO didn't go double forge, if herO was going into Temple Archives, into a Bay, into Colossus production, into his 4th base, if herO was being more defensive, then we could see those mutas keep him busy at home while Rogue drones, while he techs up into Hive Tech. But the problem is that, if you recall, herO, he was going for a gateway explosion, he was going for a 1-1 timing, he was being much more assertive, despite not really knowing what was going on. That's herO though. Like herO, he's typically more aggressive, more so than like some of the other Protosses like Max Packs or like Classic. So it is very risky going muta, especially against herO. Didn't get away with it. And here we go. Spawning in the right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, himself. For Team Falcons, it is rogue. Here we go. Rogue really seems pathetic versus Assault these days. If you haven't been watching StarCraft for the past like year, then you might not be familiar. Just be careful with that, as when it comes to like Zergs being forced to like be hyper aggressive and all in and be cheeky against Protoss. That has been the case for the past like 12 months, maybe even actually longer than that. No, yeah, around like 12 months. Because last year there was the meta of like being very tech heavy. Like that was in the previous map pool, the previous 2 map pools. So there was a meta where like there was some Zerg players who were like rushing tech and rushing. I spoke about it earlier. Like Rogue did have a style last year where he was rushing into lurkers and rushing into a more tech heavy style. But this year it has been all about just all ins. But here we go, getting into game number 3. Yeah, it's just it's important not to insinuate that it's anything recent or like related to this patch. It's something that like some people have been like bringing up as well. Like for example, the Protoss thing. Not saying it's a good thing, but like a Protoss being dominant, especially when it comes to like online tournaments or just tournaments in general that don't involve like Serral, specifically Serral. It's like people are bringing that up now, but that's been the case for like 5 years, unfortunately. If you remember back like in 2020, the meme was ESL Protoss Cup instead of the ESL Open Cups because it was just dominated by Protoss then as well. Like unfortunately it's been like a thing for the past 5 years. But people are just only now noticing it. Not saying it's a good thing, it's just saying that unfortunately it's been the reality for a long time. But here we go. Here we go. We are getting into game number 3. And so far, it is going to be a Stargate opener. Stargate opener here from herO. Once again, so Stargate opener into a 3rd base is kind of what we're expecting here. Likewise, Rogue going for his 3rd, going for so far a standard opener as well. First to look forward, my head doesn't bend the other way. Oh no, baby, oh no. Cuidado, baby, cuidado. But welcome one all to Ley Lines. Also, I should also emphasize as well, when it came to the previous game and Rogue's decision to go into Mutaplay, it does make sense on Tokamak as well. If you remember, we were talking a lot about how Tokamak is known for longer and later games. So Rogue's assumption, and it was an assumption, was he was hoping that herO would be more tech heavy, would be more defensive, and would be taking and turtling up into Skytoss and would be less aggressive. That was the hope, at least, specifically on Tokamak. Here on Ley Lines, we do not expect Mutaplay. Like, you can get away with mutas on Tokamak, on Maganatha, on these larger maps, hoping that your Protoss opponent is being more defensive and tech heavy. Here we expect more aggression out of herO. It's more expected on Ley Lines, I should emphasize. As we have our third base into Twilight Council and Forge. If you notice, it's going to be an earlier Twilight Council and Forge timing. This is earlier than last game, so this is going to be an earlier upgrade timing. Overlord will confirm. Which means this could be +1 in charge. Doesn't have to be, but there's the option. We'll see if it's going to be Blink or Charge. Oracle's Apex in. 5 drone kills so far. And we do have the tech of choice, +1 and Blink. So +1 and Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, we're going Lair first out of Rogue. Interesting. Going Lair first does get a safety Roach Warren just in case. Remember, last game we skipped Roaches entirely. This time we're playing safe. So Roaches are on the way. Lair as well. With this, we can go into a Roach heavy composition. Technically, this can turn into a 3-base Roach all-in with like a German taxi. Technically. So we'll see if Road cuts workers. Was the 4th base is delayed. Nice pick off at a herO. It's going to be 2 drone kills so far. Again, delaying the 4th. Behind this, Rogue is getting up to 3-base saturation. 3-base saturation is going to be 66 workers, 66, and he's droning up further. Okay, here we go. Hydroden is on the way. Gases are being taken as well. Rogue, he's building up into a longer game for the first time this series. For the first time, we're building up, we're taking up into a longer game. Let's go. Game 1, of course, Rogue, he went for a German Taxi Roach Queen all-in. That was on Maganatha. Game 2, he tried to rush into mutas. Game 3, we're droning. We're going Roach Hydra. Now, as we're droning up the 4th base, the big power spike here for Rogue is going to be Lurker Tech. Here comes the Infestation Pit. We're still working on it. So Infestation Pit into Hive Tech into Lurkers. We're still a ways away. We'll see if Rogue can get there. Because what's going to hit first? Storm. Storm is finishing up. And herO, he should be pushing first to try to break the 4th. And we'll see if Rogue can survive until Lurkers. It's not easy to play this style. To play this more tech-heavy style from the Zerg. So we'll see if we can get into it. As the High Templar, they're gathering energy. They're building up. Once they're ready, then herO can start pushing. Oh, never mind. You see what I see? Second Stargate Fleet Beacon. herO, he's not pushing. He's not pushing. He's not warping in. He's going to be skipping warp-ins, and we are rushing into Skytoss. So herO is going to be defending. He's going to be turtling up. He's going to be defending here on 4 bases. If you remember, this is what Rogue wanted herO to do last game. It's all kind of like coming full circle. But this is the style that Rogue wanted at herO on Tokamak. Didn't give it to him then. He's doing it here instead. Which happens to be the game where Rogue is taking. Which means herO should get away with this. herO, he should be able to get away with Skytoss, just because Rogue is spending resources on drones and on tech, not on building into a strong timing attack. So herO, he should be secure. And I do favor herO coming into this kind of game state. Tempest production has begun, and it's going to be very difficult for Rogue to try to break herO before Skytoss. To the point where I don't think he can at this point. Yeah, we're still droning. Hive is still on the way. Nidostorm as well. Building up Nidostorms, taking more bases. And essentially, we're kind of like rushing into the late game. We're rushing into the end game here. But herO is getting there a little bit faster. He's getting there in a better position. Meanwhile, Rogi's catching up. With what? Spire. He has to get the Spire. He needs Corruptor upgrades, so +1 Flyer attack, +1 Flyer carapace. Spellcasters, Vipers, Infestors, Corruptors. Rogi has a ways to go. Here he's making his 3 Tempests at a time. A second Cyber Core for double Skytoss upgrades. And again, this is where last game, like, Mutas would have already hit the field. They'd be like poking, bouncing between bases, getting economic damage, baiting out storms. Like, this is what Rogue wanted last game. And then it can be building up into like into Skyzerg, into Corruptors, and Broodlord. Regardless, Rogi does rotate. He's rotating, he's looking for a way in. It's, again, not easy to break a defending Protoss here. Not easy. Especially with the new Storm. As you mentioned before in the lead up to this series, with the new Storm, it is a more powerful zoning tool, and it does mean that turtling up like this is easier on this patch compared to the previous patch. So it is an easier defense here for herO. Or stronger maybe that's a better way of putting it. Stronger defense. We spoke about the one caveat when it comes to the new Storm is that Banelings are going to be able to survive it, to be able to break through an all-in, but there's no Ling Bane all-in. So that's a non-factor. Rogue is getting his Ultra Cavern. Again, we're still taking, so Ultra Cavern, second Spire, double air upgrades. Rogue, he's got a decent economy. He's got 95 drones. His tech is still getting there. And herO is perfecting his army. So what do we have so far? We have 4 Tempests, we have 3 Carriers, 9 High-Tech 9 Templar, plenty of Storms. Ooh, and hero's getting a 5th. Rogue cannot let this get up and running. Now, thankfully, Rogue's crease spread is really solid. I do really appreciate the crease spread here. It's very impressive. He's encroaching on the bases, and he needs to apply pressure to this 5th. He cannot allow herO to build up a bank. Oh, Brutal Storm. Oh my god. Storms, they shut down the Lings. We got more cannons on the way. And hero's main army is at the 5th base. Again, this is like the critical moment here for herO. Can he hold on to, can he saturate the 5th expansion? Here he comes Rogue. Collapsing in. He does move forward. Where are the Storms? Storms, they zone away the Lings. They get on top of the Hydras. Ooh, brutal connections. Yeah, Hydra's going to be going down. Corruptors, they go for the dive. And they get 1 Tempest. Oh, they run into Carrier though, and he's going to be shut down. Yeah, the Corruptors are going to fall. Mass Storms catching out the rest of the Skyzerg, the rest of the Corruptors, the Blanket Storms, but hey, he does force a cancel. Does cancel the 5th. But hero's maxed out. Now, thankfully, herO has no Storm. You could argue he was a little bit trigger happy with those Storms. A little bit trigger happy. If he held on to the Storms, herO could be pushing right now. He could just be pushing, but he has to wait for the Storms to recharge. Wait for the energy to regenerate. And herO, he has a very low Tempest count. Ooh. Only 2 Tempests. He's going into Mass Carrier. This is a bit of a pitfall that you can get into with Protoss. Carrier, this kind of composition can work really well against Hydra Lurker, 100%. Like against Hydra Lurker ground armies, like Carriers can do really well. But once we get into a higher Lurker count, and more importantly, Corruptor Broodlord, that's when Tempests do reign supreme. Do we have a Greater Spire? Am I crazy? We do. Okay, there is a Greater Spire. Now, to be fair, Rogue doesn't have any Broodlords. He has Corruptors, yes, but no Broodlords for the time being, so it isn't as important for herO to get Tempest. But eventually he wants to get out of, like, the Mass Carrier. You don't want to be stuck on Mass Carrier by the time your opponent gets into Mass Broodlord. Or Corrupted Broodlord. But here he defends well, and here, hey, he does establish his fifth. His fifth base is getting up and running here in the center of the map. How many does he have? 9. Jeez. He's got 9 carriers. Yo, we gonna see my Cripple Shroud. My Cripple Shroud is on the way. It's not gonna be too effective against 7 High Templar, but it'll be there. Hero pushing to the center. Lings 8 times to run by. Hero's maxed out, he cannot warp in. Oh, here's pushing. Yeah, here is just pushing forward. Once again, not the most efficient army here for Hero because of the mass carrier. So as he attacks, he's bleeding out minerals. Here come the storms. Yeah, blanket storms here on the side defense. Oof, one Templar goes down. Corruptors are going for the dive. Yeah, it does dive in. Not many Archons. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, there's plenty of Archons. The Archons, they come in from the left-hand side. The Archons, they clean up the Skyzer. They clean up the Corruptors. Corruptors going to be zoned away. They do clean up most of the carriers, at least. Carriers did go down. And now Hero, he's switching in Massive Void Ray. Oh, no Flea Beacon. Okay. Flea Beacon was sniped. He cannot make Tempest. Void Rays are on the way instead. Void Rays are actually okay against Ultras. I just realized we have Ultras in production instead. Void Rays, they're not ideal, but they're okay. They're okay. Hero's rebuilding. Establishing a 6th expansion. Oof. And only 2 Tempests. Oh, they get left idle. Losing one, losing both Tempests. Oh, not just the one. Tempest goes down. This is a very kitchen sink kind of army here for Hero. Just because of the Void Rays. But he needs Immortals and he needs Tempest. As the base barely survives. There we go, Tempest production has begun. As we mentioned before, like, carriers, they're okay, like, in the mid to late game, but after a certain point, you have to get rid of them. And we are. Like, we're getting rid of the carriers, we're going into Mass Tempest. A much more efficient army here for Hero is on the way, but it's not ready yet. Soldiers that go towards the northern base. Army's out of position. Void Rays do respond. Oh, as Rogue is losing expansions as well. Cleaned up. Hero does keep counterattacking. Workers, they get 19 pro kills, not bad. It's a lot of workers going down. Chaotic defense here for Hero. Getting out workers, this is where we need Tempest. Where are the Tempest? I think I would even say that Hero lost a little momentum previously because of the mass carrier that he went for. He had, what, 9 carriers? Get a decent abduction, gets 1 Tempest. Just the 1, Templar gets away, Tempests are exposed! Where's the support? And they're going to be going down. Getting 1, getting 2 more Tempests. Oof. Two more Tempests go down. But we have 4 coming in to reinforce. Oh, and Hero's breaking through. Yeah, we got Mass Infestor. There's the Microbial Shroud. The Storms on the Ultras. Ultras are breaking through. And the Immortals do struggle here, especially because of Microbial Shroud. Let's go. Ultras, they break through the Grand Army. At least they're trying. They traded well for themselves, but alas, the Ultras all get cleaned up. The Brood Lords. Goes to zone. Oh, nice control out of herO. Snipes the Vipers. Now, bearing in mind, herO's main army is still quite terrifying. Rogue doesn't really have much of a bank to work with. He's remaxing with more ultras. How many infestors does he have left? 3. That was a lot of infestors throwing down as many microbo shots as they could. But there's 3 infestors left. It was an impressive fight for Rogue. And again, thanks to microbo shroud, right? Like, it worked quite well. But what's scary here is that herO, like, the soup does lie, right? The supply does lie. herO, his army is actually quite comparable to that of Rogue. The reason why herO's supply is so much lower is because of his probe count. It's a much lower probe count. There's only 3 corruptors? Oh. Rogue doesn't really have much anti-air. Okay, nice thing run by. Leaves to get across the map. The results respond. Here he's rotating, but there are no bases here. Does find 1 lurker. That's 2. Yeah, here he's out of position. There are no bases to snipe here. Yeah, big misread out of herO. Rogue gets in. Gets half a mineral line. Takes down the expansion as well. Massive pick up here for Rogue. herO, he's running out of money. He needs that base. Oh. And that's Fungal catching at the Immortal. The Immortal goes down, and there's what, 1 Immortal left. And 2 Immortals even. And not enough. There's not enough. Rogue, he should collapse on the army. All the Templar going down. Oh god, not the Storms. Storms doing what they can, but Rogue, he's done it. Rogue, he has done it. He has broken the main army. herO bleeding out his Sky Toss, losing everything. Oh, never mind. I say that. He does lose the Sky Toss army. Here, he's barely holding on. He's holding on with a bare minimum. What's really killing herO is the economy. Right? He has no economy. He's down to, what, 26 probes. Barely an economy here. Here, he cannot afford to keep up. He cannot maintain his 5th base. And Rogue should have this. Should have this. And GG gets called. Whew, Rogue, he does take the game. He does make a series out of this. He does fight back. GG. The first non-3-0. Let's go. Again, all the last series were 3-0s all around with Shin versus Bjorn and with Creator versus Percival, but not here. Not here. We are making a series out of this. Winding it back, as I mentioned before, I do feel like herO, he did kind of, we did call it like a pitfall earlier. He was kind of baited into going mass carrier. Like, that did slow him down quite a bit. He was stuck with an inefficient army, took a really rough fight. It was afterwards that he was now getting into mass Tempest, but again, that was after he had lost an expensive army initially, and because of that first loss, because of that first poor fight that he took, he lost the 6th base, right? He started losing expansion, started losing bases, started losing momentum, more importantly, and Rogue was able to get into that. It was still very shaky, still very back and forth, as Rogue himself didn't have the best economy either, but GG. GG, well played. Shout out to Microbial Shroud, which did come into play this game. True, did come into play. Did protect those ultras. Not just that, there was some also really nice moves out of Rogue when he sniped the Fleet Beacon, if you remember. When he sniped the Fleet Beacon, and when this was during the remax when he lost all the carriers, he was trying to remax on Tempest, but he couldn't. That was also more delayed because he had to remax with Void Rays because of the loss of the Fleet Beacon. True, that was also another big moment that did occur, thanks to the Ling run by. So that all did add up. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 4, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1, leading the series 2-1. It is herO. I miss Chi-Chi. What? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Hello, Karina. They're back. They're back on cams. Ah. As for now, we are going for our initial opener. Oh, hello, Rogue. So Rogue does chase back that probe. We have our hatch gas pool. Rogue force take the unnatural natural. Whew. And Rogue able to break herO, as herO did attempt to go into Sky Toss. There's also a lot that came into play when it came to the builds of choice as well. We did mention how Rogue was expecting herO to play that style on Tokamak, and another reason for that is because that style is more favorable on Tokamak, on Maganatha, on these larger maps. On maps like Leylines, it is weaker, as the rush distance by ground is shorter, aggression is more favored, bases are more exposed. Here on Persephone, I would say that we do often see a lot of late game. Now, the reasoning for this, as opposed to some of these other maps, is that these bases are very distinctly separated from each other. Usually maps, you expand towards your opponent. That is not the case here. There's like a massive amount of dead space in the center of Persephone. There's like a very clear distinction from your half to your opponent's half of the map, except for this one center base, right? The goal base is the one really contested expansion. They can be contested between both sides, but outside of this goal base, like every base kind of like belongs to each player. Because of that, we often do see a lot of split map scenarios on Persephone. I would say this is like a better map to try to get into late game Sky Toss on compared to Leylines. But we'll see. We'll see if herO can get there. We'll see if he even tries to get there. Mind games are a big part of the series. Already seen them in Game 1 and Game 2. The mind games, the styles that have been showcased. Oh no, they're gone. Oh no. Not the bunny can. They're so energetic. They just want to zoom. Just want to zoom. That's herO breaks in. Takes down the tumor, takes down the lings, does pull away. And we'll see what kind of tech we go for from here. But now, Stargate, Oracle into a third. Everything's looking normal for the time being. We'll keep an eye open for the Twilight Council timing. Again, I do feel like there's a high chance that herO plays the same style, that goes for the same kind of builds, but we'll see. herO does take his third. Oh, doesn't quite commit. Lots of coming in. Nice around here from Rogue. It takes out one of the adepts. Gets one. Takes out one, forcing back herO. And we're still waiting for the Twilight Council here. It is going to be a little bit later. There it is, Twilight Council on Forge, plus on Blink. Standard follow-up. Standard follow-up out of herO. Rogue playing it safe, does get a Roach Warren. Roach Warren into Lair, interesting. Going for a delayed Evo Chamber. So far, I'm getting deja vu. This feels like the same game from both players, as we just saw in Leylines, where Rogue is going to go Roaches into Hydras into 4-base saturation into Hive Tech, and herO plays this out, getting into Double Forge, into Storm, sorry, not Double Forge, getting into Storm and getting into eventually 4-base saturation into Sky Toss. We'll see if that tracks. Shall see. Do have our initial... Oh, never mind! That is going to be charged. An earlier timing at a herO, not Blink. So scratch all that, at least from herO's side. Meanwhile, Rogue did finish the Roach Warren. He's also going for +1 melee, not range. So mixing things up here to appreciate. Massling is on the way. Adepts force a recall. And hero's goal, typically, as we mentioned, is going to be to try to catch the Zerg player skipping out on roaches, but he just scouted that Rogue is playing it safe. He has a nice Sim City here, we have a potential for roaches, and we are going into +1, so we're going into Spire play. Now it makes sense why we have +1 melee, not range, because they're not making roaches. The plan is to skip roach production, you have the roach warren just for show, and we're spending gas on mutas instead. So nice mind games here out of out of Rogue. Nice mind games out of Rogue. Now, my big concern here is the charge timing. Here, he's warping in quite a bit of zealots back at home, and, okay, nice scout. Rogue does scout, he knows. Rogue is aware. And there is a window of opportunity where Hero can try to break Rogue before he gets into mutas. Jeez, he went into quadruple Oracle, okay. They're in the main.
Research complete.
Hero going for the expansion. Across the map. That's a 5th Oracle? Wait, what? Okay, we went mass Oracle into +1 in charge. Interesting. Of course, very limited anti-air. Here he needs to move out soon. Yeah, Muta's already on the way. And nothing shoots up. There's no Blink Stalkers. I mean, there's potentially you can make Phoenixes. We have potentially Archons back at home. There we go. Phoenix production has begun. And Hero did notice. Did take notice something was wrong. And Roki gets away with it. For the first time. He attended this on Tokamak, of course, but here he gets away with the mutas. Mutas are getting in. Here he fails to push. He fails to punish. And here he should be kept at home. And this means that Rogue cannot drone. He can drone up, he can saturate, he can work towards hive tech. The prison does force Rogue back home. Let's force him all the way back. Hero is pushing. Bold move. Yeah, here I don't think he has enough anti-air with this. He has a handful of Archons. His army is split. Oracles are getting called out. And leaves a collapse on the first Archon. Yeah, Phoenix they try to engage, but there are just so many mutas. Yeah, so many mutas. The Phoenix count gets reset. No control out of Hero. He did not kite away. And the mutas they should overwhelm this. Yeah, they take care of all the Stalkers. They take care of the Archon. And we're looking to force the ace match. We're looking to force the ace match here. As here he failed to punish Rogue. And this was just a really ill-timed move out. Gets another Archon. Another Archon goes down. Hero, he has no 4th expansion. He's basically going for a 3-base all-in. The Mass Oracle did not pay for itself. Gets another Phoenix. Another Phoenix goes down. I mean, I guess they're getting some damage. Because hey, they get a base. They get a hatchery. I believe that was 2 bases going down. Initially the 4th base. Now the 3rd. But here he should be shut down. Ooh, Roki doesn't quite catch him. There we go. As we do see here, he does take down another expansion. I mean, he's been knocking down bases. Knocking down hatcheries, time and time again. Rogue has been struggling to maintain map control. struggling to assert his map control. But he should still be fine. He should still have the advantage. Guess how many? He has 34 mutas. That's a lot of mutas. Oh. Nice pick up. Takes down the expansion. Heads away once again, trying to catch out those Phoenixes. And here he's going for a second all-in. I say all-in just because he still has no fourth. Like, the fourth base is still non-existent. Here he's very committed here. Now there are Corruptors. More Corruptors on the way. It's going to be the backbone of Rogue's army, at least against the Phoenixes. So that's a massive flock of mutas. And here just can't. He just still can't fight this. If he had Archons, yeah. If he had Storm, then maybe. I mean, the Max Phoenix is true. They can kite. You can try to kite. That's a kill. It's a kill, not a cancel on the fourth base. Okay, Mutas collapse in. That's a lot of Archon shots going up for the Mutas, but still they should overwhelm. Yeah, they clean up the ground army. Mutas are trying to keep up. Mutas are turn back around. The Corruptors are being thrown away. Okay. Throws away the Corruptors. Here, he still shouldn't be able to claw his way back into this. Like, he just has too few Phoenixes. He has, what, 4? 4 Phoenixes left. He's being so annoying, though. So annoying with these Zealots. Gets into more bases, kills some more drones. It's impressive. He's doing what he can. But it just shouldn't be much more. As more Zealots are coming in, more damage is being done. Rogue is losing a lot of drones. But Rogue still has critical mass and meter. Back at home, here getting into more Archons. Okay. If Hero can lure the army over the Archons, then maybe. Speaking of, the Archons are to engage. Rogue, he should not be here. The Archon volleys go up. Mutas are going to be going down. He shuts down almost every Muta here. GG gets caught. We didn't have to go for the fight, Papi. Oh no. And Hero takes it. He baits the, he pulls it off. GG. That should not have happened. GG, well played. Rogue, he was in such a good position, Papi. He was in such a good position. I mean, the Zealots, they were doing damage, they were being very annoying, killing a lot of workers, and he does actually bait the Mutas into all the Archons. GG gets called. Every Muta goes down, and that's game. That's game then and there. Feels Rogue, man. GG, well played. We could have seen an ace match. I was almost convinced it was going to be an ace match as well. Rogue, he was shutting down the fourth base time and time again. He had a better economy. The Zealots were being very annoying, and that is on Rogue to not have a ground army to deal with those Zealots. He didn't really have enough to keep up, and the Zealots were buying a lot of time, allowing Hero to build up those Archons. But at the same time, Rogue, he also made the decision to commit when he did, to see the ground army and to go in with the Mutas. GG. GG. Rogue loses his mind and Hero wins. I mean, that looked like Rogue just being that looked like him maybe venting frustrations from the Zealots. Like the Zealot run bys were very annoying, like for 100%. Like we've all been there, right? There's like 3 Zealots in every base and more Zealots hitting more expansions as well. Like it is very frustrating to deal with. But it looked like that might have gotten to him a little bit, and He just wanted to aim. Like, he just wanted to end the game. Like, Rogue, in his mind, he's like, I already won. Like, I already won this game. Like, I'm already ahead. Like, I'm already doing so much. Just die. And he died instead. Ah, no. Not like this. GG. GG, well played. Este hero.